start with the Batman comics. Okay. So these are by, do you know who Frank Miller is?
I know the name, and I know that he did a whole series.
Yeah, so he's a very influential comic book artist. He basically, have you ever heard of Sin City?
Yeah.
Yeah, he created that. In the late 80s, Batman, or mid 80s, Batman had kind of taken a downturn, at least comic book wise.
So this was kind of like a reboot?
This was his reboot, essentially, with The Dark Knight Returns, which is probably one of the most influential Batman comics. When he first came out, he was very dark, mysterious. Unfortunately, the 60s TV show with Adam West kind of completely did the opposite of that character.
Right.
Made him very poppy, campy. All the seriousness, they just sucked right out.
Exactly.
Frank Miller brought that back with this comic, The Dark Knight Returns. So this really is in a way, a return to form to the original Batman, dark, mysterious, brooding.
Right. And then all the movies that have come out following.
Yes, so basically all of Christopher Nolan's movies are highly inspired by his books.
Yeah.
The downside is because this was so popular, even today they're only worth about $10 a copy. So you got 4 copies here, so that's about $40.
Are things worth getting graded? I mean,
yes.
Oh, they are. Okay.
If it's in good shape. And we'll get to that one with the Spider-Man. Now, the Dead comics, I don't know a whole lot about. I did some research on them. These look like they're from probably, what's the date? 90s, right?
Early
So
90s.
a lot of the comics from the 90s kind of like just mass-produced everything, and that's really the same with the Dead comics.
Right.
So there are ones that are very valuable. They're called the foil covers. So basically,
Grateful Dead comics?
Yeah. So the foil covers will be very shiny and stuff, and it's called, in the comic book world, they call it an alternative cover. And so that's usually number 1 would have this completely, a whole different design, and it would be shiny and stuff and so on and so forth. But these are about only $10 a piece too.
Okay.
Now what you do have that's very, very, very nice is the Amazing Spider-Man number 1 annual. Right, so this is obviously something they release once a year. It's 72 pages compared to the much smaller comic book, which I believe is only 32. And it's also completely doesn't have staples in it like a regular comic book would. It's more of like just a regular old book.
Right. Cover's coming off a little bit.
Yes. We actually sold a bunch of Spider-Man comics recently. And it's just surprising to see how much even the ones in terrible shape can get. This one, the pages are good. It's got some slight discoloring on the front. The cover is the main problem with it because it's almost completely coming off. Do you remember how you got this?
That's what I was trying to remember. Because I might have bought it when it came out, but I was only 10. So probably
came out in
not.
64, yeah.
I might have picked it up like when I was about 13 or 14, and I've been lugging it around with me ever since.
Do you read it very often?
I did for a while, but no, I haven't opened it for quite a long time, number of years.
So usually the annuals aren't worth a whole lot, but it is Spider-Man, and it's very early Spider-Man. If we were to get this graded, condition-wise, it's very low condition. I'm not going to say it's a 1, but it's definitely in that range of 1 to 3.
Okay.
But for this book, a 1 sold recently for $298. And then a 3, you're starting to get into the 4-figure range. I don't think this would get a 3, unfortunately, though. Market price, I think you could probably get $200 for it in the condition that it's in right now. On a good day, $200. What were your intentions with all the stuff you brought in today?
I was really more curious to see what they were worth. I mean, that's the only one I really thought. And
You'd be correct.
thought about taking it to different comic book places, so you've given me a sense of what it's worth.
Yes.
You know, I'm not even sure $200 is worth selling it. I might as well just hang on to it for.
Yep, you could get it graded, and then it would be worth more. I would suggest you get this copy of The Dark Knight Returns graded. Okay. Because this looks in very good shape. This will at least get in the 9s, and so instead of being $10, we're talking about at least $100 to $200 price-wise.
Okay, and the grading process?
So the grading process is the first and foremost grader for comics is CGC, Certified Collectibles Group. Basically what you do is you go into their website, you fill out a form saying, hey, I want to send this in. Okay. They have a certain way that ship the books. Like this is pretty much already good to go. You just need to put a hard piece of like cardboard
on
behind it
sides,
to add some support. But they might have something else on their website.
Okay.
And you ship it to them, and they give a grade to it, put it in a slab, and ship it back to you.
They're reliable, trustworthy?
They're number one in the business for comics grading.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no one else that compares to them.
Okay.
A lot of the other grading companies have pretty serious competition. Like for sports cards, Beckett and PSA kind of knock heads against each other in terms of number one. But for comics, it's not even, there's no question, it's CGC. They're like the pioneers of it. So
got it.
I definitely say.
But these two are the ones you think I should do?
Yeah.
Okay.
For this, you should get graded for sure. Yeah. Just because
of what it is.
Because of what it is. I mean, you've had it for so long that if you do ever want to sell it, you can, right? And you'll get more money for it by having it graded, and it'll also be protected. That's the best way to protect, and that's first and foremost. A lot of collectors, they don't even care about the value of it, but they want their stuff protected, and it's going to be vacuum sealed in a hard plastic slab.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Very nice. So thank you.
No worries. Thank you for bringing it in. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah.
It was very cool. It's always nice seeing comic books, especially ones, I mean, the Batman one is common, but you don't see it, right? Because people know what it is and they grab it. So you don't always see it.
Okay.
And it's just a very famous comic, and obviously the Spider-Man, we don't need to say anything else about Spider-Man.
Right, exactly.
So,
great.
Thank you for bringing that in.
Thanks a lot.